Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 142 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone, brought to you by Celozo. And today we're going to do something a little different. We've got McClain Warren on with us. Such a great guest we had not too long ago, talking all about you. But for everyone listening, you may not have heard our stories, Kris and my story about how we got into this space. So we thought we would do a little reverse interview. So we are turning over the reins of the podcast to McClain. It's yours. You've got the floor. Take it away.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I'm excited to be back. I'm sure you guys missed me. It's been all of a week since we last talked.
Yes, we missed you.
I hope you weren't shedding tears of sorrow over that. I know I'm very miserable. But just to give the audience some kind of color behind it, and it kind of circles back to what we were talking about in the last podcast, which is we really, when you are selling a service or software program or really anything, you want to give kind of a voice to that brand, right? Mm-hmm. And people connect with other people more so than they do products. So I know you guys have been doing this for a while. I know you guys have had awesome guests. And I thought, why not turn the tables and learn more about you guys and, what you're about, what your background is, how you decided to come into this industry. Just give some color to Celozo and to Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone. So if that's cool with you, I think that's kind of how the conversation is going to go. And I promise I won't ask too many personal questions.
Bring it. We don't care.
It'll be fun.
we're open books. We're excited.
Well, we'll see about that. By the end of this, you might be like, we're not so open, actually.
Yeah.
I take that back. Well, first of all, I know you both are from Kansas City. That's accurate? Right? And did you guys know each other for a long time prior to this, or how did you guys meet?
No, I can answer that. Kris and I met through working here at Celozo. I mean, he got hired before me, and in fact, we both ended up here because of an Amazon seller meetup group that Celozo put on. And Kris joined and attended. I joined and never attended. And they actually, through that, were reaching out for people in the area who were in the Amazon space to hire. And it just turned out that we were both here, and I answered it and came on board. But it was really interesting, and I've had a blast. That was, for me, that was a little over 2 years ago. And it's been a blast ever since.
Awesome. And has it been a blast for you too, Kris?
Yeah, it sucks. I actually hate it.
Yeah, no.
No, it's been a great time. I mean, I've been born and raised. I was born and raised in Kansas City. Always dabbled around with the internet stuff, and then saw a meetup and went to it and never heard of Celozo. I was selling on Amazon years prior to even joining Celozo, and still sell on Amazon. And I remember going to the meetup, I've never even heard of you guys, and you're in my own backyard, which is kind of cool. So we went to a meetup and chatted with some other people that were interested in selling on Amazon. Kind of worked out at a good timing. I got let go of my other job, and then Celozo hired me, so it was kind of an easy transition. And started learning about PPC more. And I mean, I always knew about Amazon PPC from my own business. But this is a new level. When you're in it every day, it's a whole new thing.
So you both have been selling on Amazon obviously based on the name of the podcast. Yep. You both have been selling for a long time, or?
Yeah.
Pretty close.
We both started right around the same time, which is interesting, around 2014. So pretty long time in terms of a lot of the Amazon selling. So we've been doing it a long time, and that, I think, was another interesting approach that Celozo took. Is they were pretty intentional about going after people that had a lot of experience in the space themselves, and I think that has been just a really smart move, because we can connect. I mean, yes, when we talk to clients at Celozo, or we talk to prospective clients, we are talking about PPC and automating it and how to optimize it. but so much more goes into that. I mean, you have to really, if you can talk the entire thing, if you've lived it, if you know what it's like to budget of $200 a day on a campaign, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so much. I'm a starting off a seller. You understand better where they're coming from and how this can help. I think that was a really good move on Solozo's part to make that an intentional way of hiring, is to get a lot of people with experience themselves selling it. And also, this experience for me personally has totally transformed how I'm running my own business. And I know Kris is probably the same way, especially once we started the podcast, networking, and that has been amazing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. So you guys seem to, like, when you met, was it an automatic, like, we use the word attraction, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean making eyes across the dinner table. I mean, were you guys, I mean, was it just an instant connection? Were you guys just vibing well and you were just like, oh, this is easy? Or, was it kind of took some time to get to know each other and feel each other out in terms of, the nuances, the personalities, what you guys were looking for in a podcast?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. When Dustin first came on, our manager at the time, my manager at the time, was, hey, we're gonna get somebody else on the sales team, and he's actually a seller. And I was like, there's another seller locally? Like, I didn't, like, to me, it was like, I didn't know there was anybody else that would be interested. Like, the odds of that happening seemed pretty slim. Like, somebody's going to come on the team that actually been selling on Amazon. I was like, okay, that's going to be cool. So when I met Dustin, I actually did a demo for him. And I'll never forget, his first words were like, I'm getting ready to join the team. Are you okay with that? I'm like, what the hell? Of course I have to be okay with that. Like, what do you think? I'm going to say no?
I wasn't aware that I had a choice.
I was like, right. Do I have a choice here? Like, of course. So, like, when I went through his account with him and showed him some stuff, and he came into the office, and from that day on, like, Dustin's personality, my personality, they really go well together. We're both really like go-getters, and we could pick on something really fast. So I think that those qualities really helped us both like move fast with the tool, move fast with the sales team. And then Dustin was actually the one that was like, let's do a podcast. And he's been talking about it like since like the first couple of weeks he got hired. Like, let's do a podcast. And I'm like, I'm like
attention seeker.
Well, to me, I'm like, I don't know. Like, let's like do our thing here and like get better with it. And I'm like, I was like, yeah, that's a great idea, but I never like took it by the horns and did it. So Dustin was actually the one who was like, let's do this podcast.
Yeah, well, actually, I was scared to death. That's why I mentioned it. I was like, because I've always thought, oh, that would be a great marketing. I thought if you're in the Amazon space, it's such a community vibe anyway. That like to get the word out about what you're doing it's easier, like in relational or meeting people and putting content out as opposed to like seeing a Google ad or something. Right? If you're looking for ad automation, that's so much more cold. So it's like we could reach so many more people if people saw what we're doing, if they saw the inside of the tool, if we're talking to experts. That's just going to create comfort with us, know that we're real people. We're not, we actually enjoy talking about Amazon almost more than we want to try to like sell you onto our platform, because we'll tell you if it's not a right fit, it's not the right fit. We don't want to go down that road with you. So I was like, we should do this. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I've always wanted to do like a YouTube channel or podcast. For me personally, I've wanted to do it. But and to be
clear, you had never done anything like that before.
No, I joked. We can go this story later. I recorded one podcast episode about 5 years ago with my wife, and then that was it. I didn't continue, and then we didn't. I mean, maybe 3 people heard it. But I was like, but there was a little bit of a fear putting yourself out there. It's intimidating. But I thought, well, if I just pressure Kris into doing it with me, then at least I'll have a sidekick going with it. And honestly, that's been the best thing, because if we're interviewing somebody or talking to somebody on the podcast, the 2 people interviewer format is great, because if I'm, maybe I'm not as interested in this particular topic as Kris is, or Kris is more interested in that, or whatever. We come at it from different angles. He's had a different problem than I've had, and it just really makes the conversation much more interesting, I feel like, and maybe more valuable for people that listen. So we have a lot of fun doing that for sure.
So I have to ask, so this is episode 142, is that what you guys said?
Yep.
Yeah. So looking back at like, say, the first 2 or 3 podcasts you did, do you just like cringe looking at it, or like, do you think it went pretty well?
I stopped listening to our own podcast.
Yeah.
Like I used to listen to our podcast, like after we recorded, I'd go to the gym and like listen to it. And I quit doing it. And I don't know, like personally, I don't know why. I don't know why anymore. Like I don't listen to it anymore. I don't even watch myself anymore. But my wife was asking me, she's like, do you listen to your own episodes? That's fully other. She's like, do you listen to your own episodes anymore? I'm like, no, I quit that. But I don't know I really have a hard time putting the reason why I stopped doing it. Because at first I wanted to make sure we sounded right, like the mic was right, and no echoes, and like we had good flow. But now I just don't want to hear myself, because maybe I could critique myself too much. I don't know what Dustin's thoughts are, but yeah, I don't go back and listen to those anymore. I probably should, to see what they sound like.
Yeah, I don't listen to them too much. I'll tell you what I do though, is if there's so many guests that we've had that have great tips that I'll like, what was that? And I'll go back and like fast forward and try to find it. Just because honestly, every single time we get done with a podcast, I'm like, I know Kris the same way. We instantly go and like try to implement whatever that was, like on our own business. Like if there was a tip about listings or even PPC or any of that stuff, we're like, let's go test it out. So I'll go back and like try to remember what was going on in our interview. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of listening to myself. I sound funny. I feel like it's, everyone sounds funny to themselves. And you're like, you always have like amazing questions like right afterwards. And you're like, oh, if I would have asked that, or I have a great comeback to this or that. But it is funny because you talk about our first podcast. If you go back, it's like we've got like high def cameras, and we've got lighting, and we've got backgrounds that look like we, have offices and stuff. And before it was like,
in a dungeon.
Dungeon.
Like the camera was like looking straight up my nose because it was from my computer camera. It's all grainy. But it doesn't matter. I don't think, like, it's just a matter of, just being out there. It's the information's good for people, and it's great for us. So I think we've evolved, but it's been fun. It's fun to kind of look at the progress of it. Yeah. Otherwise, we would have started.
What so talking about or circling back to your comment about, I'll watch certain episodes because it's full of great tips or content. And I know your first instinct is going to be to say, oh, everyone's created equal. But what we really want to know is, who are some of your favorite guests that you've had on?
Oh, okay. So McClain Warren.
Yep, that was what I was looking for. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, were there other guests, Kris? I can't remember.
I don't remember any other guests. But
matters.
Yeah, just McClain. Gosh, I'll
go through a list. We have Leron Hirschkorn. Leron Hirschkorn was great. He was. We've had him. Like, he was one of the first time we had a guest on that I was like, this is actually, we're talking to this guy that we've both been following for a while.
Yeah, I was nervous. I'll admit. I was nervous.
Were you like celebrity struck? Like, you were like, oh
kinda. Kind of, because you're like, well, this guy's been all over the place. He's all over every podcast episode, and you're like, and now he's coming on ours, and I don't know, it was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Same thing. That was the same thing with like Norm Farrar, and then Tim Jordan jumped in on that episodes. We're like, that was pretty cool. We've been following
Amy
those guys.
Weiss has been fantastic. We just had Amy Weiss on. She was great.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when people have energy and they're really excited to talk about Amazon, it's so fun, and they bring value. So all those people we're talking about are like that. I'll tell you another one, Francois from Noviland. I don't know if you know Francois from Noviland. Mm-hmm. Great, and not only is he great, but I use them, and they are phenomenal. So like that was a whole nother deal about being involved in this. Is like the supplier relationship and keep maintaining suppliers. That was I like doing it, but it was a lot of work and like language barriers and all this stuff was tricky. Now that I've been working with Noviland, I've had like amazing. So anyone who's listening, Noviland is awesome for sourcing and streamlining everything, logistics and the whole bit. I just had a whole shipment delivered to my house. Here, I'll show everybody. It's over here. All those boxes that came from a deal with Noviland. So I mean, there's so many stories like that. I gotta almost pull up the list of people we've had on the podcast, Kris, to even.
The people that we get on are people we've listened to, we've watched, like our own, like where we listen to podcasts too, and we watch YouTube videos too.
Oh yeah.
So when we see these people on there, we're like, oh, we gotta get them on our show because I got questions I want to ask them. Like that's what I want to ask all these questions. These people that I've been watching myself. Like Joe Valley from Quiet Light Brokerage, like that was all about exiting your business. I'm talking about exiting my business probably in the next 24 months. So like that was a really good episode. Just like people that we see a lot of are in the space and they provide good value. Those are the people I want to get on the show because I want to ask them questions that I have after I watch their podcast or episodes.
Other really fun ones are like when we had Rupesh on, Rupesh Singhavi. He has no tools or he's not an influencer. He's just grown his business from zero to $140 million. And he was willing to come on and talk about his story. I mean, it's like stuff like that, Kris, when we get done with that, I mean, Kris and I talked for a few minutes afterwards or 10 or 15 minutes afterwards podcast. And we're like, how motivated are you right now after listening to that guy's story? I was like, so that to me is really that's a really fun part is hearing like
Neil Twall was good.
Neil, he was great.
Neil Twall was fantastic. Like that whole like set up a business, research, launch, rank. That was a good refresher. Yeah, I mean we can
go through here. I mean, 142 episodes is a lot. We've had some people back on. I'll tell you what. Sometimes we talk about this, like, can you believe we've done 142 episodes? It hasn't been a year yet. I don't think we started it in October of last year, so it has not been a year yet. And we just sort of cranked it up, but it's amazing to us that we've talked to that many people. It's been great. Now the next step is for us to start really going to a lot more live events. That's because all these people are so fun. We got good relationships with them. It'd be fun to go to Vegas and have a beer with them. Just have a good old time. So,
okay. So to flip that script, and of course, I don't mean for you to mention actual names or companies, but what situations or podcasts have you been in where it was kind of a dud or, it just wasn't vibing the right way, or maybe you just disagreed with whatever the person was saying? Does that happen very often?
I mean,
not a lot.
Most of our guests have been fantastic. I think sometimes, and it may be because they're nervous about coming on and going live and all that stuff, but they'll give just short answers. They'll answer a question, but it's short, and they don't dive into like their story very much. And so like our whole like spiel is we try to like learn more about you, whoever our guest is. We want to know like what makes you tick. How did you get into this? We love it when we can talk about mistakes. Like that's honestly, sometimes that's the best. Is like, oh man, this happened and I almost gave up, and then now I turned it around. And I mean, that's relevant to a lot of people. And so we like that. But usually if it's just very quick answers, like, yep, do that. And that's what I do, or not. And there's no other like expounding or no passion. We love it when there's a lot of passion, but honestly, I don't think we've had very many of those at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So would you say your passion to get to know your panelists or guests or whatever, just to really dive into who they are and what their aspirations are, et cetera. Do you think that carries over to Salazzo as a tool and to the foundation of which Salazzo was birthed on? Like, you know, because as someone who works, you know, I do a lot of freelance work for you guys. So I get the impression that what makes this tool unique, as opposed to all the other million PPC softwares out there, is you guys are like real people that really care about other people doing well and are always willing to learn and to have a positive attitude and vibe. So do you think that, like, you as people, that kind of translates into what you contribute to the company and who Salazzo is as a whole?
Yeah, and I think it starts at the top. We have a great CEO, and like he's always trying to give us the right tools to use. And when we come to him like, hey, we need to have this because this is what we're hearing sellers need, there's not a lot of pushback. It's like, okay, we got to get it done. Like, so when we come to the table or come to meetings, or even our support team has been fantastic. Like they're either all previous sellers or they work with their own accounts. Right. So they hear feedback. And when we go to meetings and we have meetings with business, we don't really get a lot of pushback on things that the tool needs or features that we need to roll out. And it's because we're coming to those with like feedback from sellers. So the feedback that we provide in our own businesses that we give out and the feedback that we hear from other sellers, that's what we use to make the tool better. And I think, you know, Nick, our CEO, I think Dustin would agree. It comes from the top.
Yeah. And the team really works hard. We have a lot of fun together. We're a really tight-knit group, which is great as well. That makes us really responsive. Like Kris said, if we need a feature or something, I mean, we're quick about developing those. We've stayed ahead and on top of the industry as it's grown. But from Kris and my perspective is we're usually the first touch on anybody who's coming in to the platform. So if somebody's looking for a demo, they're going to get with us. And so we approach that like we're sales, we're on the sales team, but and when we have demos, we get on and it's a conversation like this, like what issues are you having in your business? What solutions are you looking for? And if Salazzo's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. Well, there's been so many times right now. You need to go see McClain. You need help with your listings before we even have this conversation. You need to go over to here, or you've got inventory problems right now. So we don't need. I do. You know, if you signed up right now, we don't want to take your money. So I think, and since we started the podcast, and since we've live streamed everything, and we're going on other people's podcasts all the time. A lot of times the people come in and they've already seen us. They already kind of know our personalities, and hopefully we're trustworthy. So I think that flows. And then we do the same thing after they sign up. We onboard them, and we onboard them multiple times. If they're going to do like just use the platform as a self-serve platform, we make sure that they understand what they're doing and have the right goals, et cetera, and that they understand to use the tool. So I think that's probably unique in the industry. I think a lot of the places it's much more sign up, watch this starter video, and now
there's not a personal touch to it. Yeah.
So and really I have a ton of fun on those calls. I think it's a blast learning about other people's businesses. It's fun. It's fun when I can help them out. Like the other day, this guy, great guy, was on a call. He could not figure out why his ads weren't performing, and he had lost the buy box on a lot of his products because he raised his price too much. Right. And if we hadn't had that call, it might have taken him a long time to figure that out. And so that being able to help something like that, boom, quick, he's back, and now we're talking about ads again. Those kinds of things are fun. It's really fun because we know, Kris and I both know what it's like to suffer with something going wrong with your Amazon account and you cannot figure out what the heck it is, you know? So it's fun to be able to help.
Nice. So kind of scooting away from the podcast and business, what are your I'll ask you first, Kris. What are your hobbies other than Amazon doing this? What are your favorite things to do?
Oh my gosh. Well, anything that involves making money, I'm all about. I mean, I used to go to thrift stores and just buy name brand clothing for like $2-3 and sell it on eBay for like 5 times the amount. Like that, like anything to make money. I enjoy the rush of like finding and selling something for a higher profit than what I bought it for. Like it doesn't matter what it is. I'll scan stuff.
I'll sell anything.
I'll sell anything. Honestly, I'll sell anything if I can make a buck on it. Like, and it's a rush. Like as a kid, I did this. I would go get Beanie Babies. I would go get Beanie Babies and buy them for $6 and try to flip them for 30 or 40, even sports cards as a kid. My brother and I would just pop open our sports cards, our baseball cards, basketball cards. We would just pull them out in the driveway and we would sell them right there on the curb, like to kids coming by the neighborhood or lemonade stands, like all that stuff, like mowing yards, like. So anything to do with money, I love to play around. Crypto, I'm all into like I'm playing around with crypto now. Yeah, I've been keeping my eye on NFTs. I don't know enough about NFTs yet to put money into it, but I have my eye there. Sports cards, I'm still into. Like I love getting them graded. Like that's a big deal now. Like getting cards graded. Gosh, like seriously, that's my mind does not turn off. Like that's all I think about.
This is why Kris and I get along really well, because this is how I am too, in terms of like, I mean, my whole life I've had that entrepreneurial spirit of how can I make money doing this or make money doing this. Sometimes it's a wild ride, like for anybody like to be in a relationship with me, like for my wife, like where is he going now? Where is he going now?
Oh, we'll go to dinner and my wife's like, I don't even know what he's doing.
Yeah,
I don't even know what he's up to.
But my wife's kind of the same way though. She's an artist, so she's very entrepreneurial. She's always working on new projects and new things. So it's so in terms of hobbies for me, tennis is a big hobby. That was my career for a long time. I was a tennis professional for almost 20 years. And so that taught a lot of lessons, did a lot of group clinics and loved playing. My dad is a big tennis player. So we're getting ready to redo this. We used to play the national doubles all over the place, which was a lot of fun in tennis. And now we're going to start doing that. I absolutely love sports. So Kansas City Chiefs, Royals, any sport. I mean, I absolutely love it. My favorite place maybe in the world is Arrowhead Stadium where the Chiefs play, which is 15 minutes down the road. So I absolutely love that. I've got 2 boys that are 15 and 11. They play a ton of sports. So I'm always out doing stuff with them. But I think what's been really fun is involving my kids in this entrepreneurial spirit. So my oldest son's 15. He's amazing at Photoshop. He's like downstairs right now working on some images for a new relaunching a product. So he's working on the images right now. We have a little photo shoot area downstairs where he's taking pictures. And then my youngest son loves to do everything like label stuff and package stuff up. And so it's been really fun. They talk the talk, like how can
so child labor laws don't mean anything to you?
No, not at all.
Not when they're your own kids.
No, not another of my own kids. Yeah. And so far they haven't complained. And they also haven't complained about the house that we live in or all the food that they eat. Or, so I think this isn't really child labor. I think I'm paying them an exorbitant amount for the work that they do.
I know. I mean, I call my child a freeloader, so because he's not doing anything at this point. So I think I'm going to send him over to Dustin's house to,
come on,
to work.
Yeah, we got stuff to. Actually, we got a project right now because Kris and I are working on a YouTube series that we just started. It's called Operation Launch. And so anybody can go check that out right now. That's where Kris and I started a brand new Amazon account together live and are launching products on there. And we're walking through everything like making the listings, taking the pictures. I mean, right now I'll show everybody. I'll just do a little quick peek here. It's on my bed. I'll do it fast. That's where we've been working on. I can't tell you exactly what it is yet. That was why it was a quick little clip over there. But that was a little workstation where we're
a little teaser for everyone.
packaging stuff up. We like designed our own labels. We're like, it's like a warehouse over here. We're printing labels and sticking them on and designing them and polybagging these things, and we're sending them in. So that's gonna be fun. So like that's a blast. I would do that. I would do that anyway. And so it's fun. That's what's really fun about working with Kris at Celozo is the ability to do this now and help people become better sellers, help them overcome issues with their PPC, teach them all that, and just have fun doing it. So it's
well, that kind of negates my next question, because I was going to ask if you guys could be anything else or do anything else besides what you're doing, what would it be?
I'd be a farmer.
Yeah.
I think a farmer would be fun. So just to kind of give you a story. My brain does shut off.
I need a story for that, actually.
My brain does shut off at some point, but my wife and I recently went to a small town in Texas called McGregor, Texas. Okay. And we went to an Airbnb there, and this guy has like 150 acres, and he rescues all these exotic animals like giraffes and like zebras and all these like crazy, otters. He just took on a camel, and he just rescues these animals, and they just live on his land. And
wait, rescue them from Kansas?
Rescues them from like all over the place. So like he had in Texas, he got a camel.
Oh, sorry, we did say Texas, yeah.
Yeah, like he gets a camel because the mom won't take the newborn. So like he takes it in, and then like he has a team, and they all raise this camel, and like they raise these giraffes. Anyways, like that's his job now. It's like being like a farmer, like going out, like raising chickens and stuff. Like I would love to have 150 acres and just kind of do the daily grind of like hang out with the animals and make sure they're living and not worry about anything else. Now he's turned it into a business. Obviously he's put on some like Airbnbs, and so you pay to stay there. But
it's like a petting farm.
It's kind of like a petting farm, but you're in this town of McGregor. It's super cool. I encourage everybody to go. But like that got my mind thinking, like, if I could do anything, I want to go buy some land and just kind of hang out, have my own animals, maybe turn them into like a small little business, and kind of just escape from the city life. That'd be fun.
You could write a country song like that.
Mm-hmm. Every country song kind of has a little feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't recall any song having an Airbnb mention, but I do like that little like modern twist to it.
I'll give them a plug. It's called Blue Hills Ranch. Check them out. They're all over Instagram. It's seriously a cool experience. Like it really got me thinking.
Is that what you're going to do when you sell your business, Kris?
When I sell my business for $3 million in February of 2023,
that's his goal.
I'm going to go buy a bunch of land. It's got to have a pond on it, and I'm going to get rescue animals, and my wife is going to love it because she's already been talking about it. And then we're just going to be doing that, like do over there. So that's my goal.
All right, Dustin, your turn.
What would I be doing if I wasn't doing this? It's funny. I talk to my wife about this all the time. If you'd asked me 10 years ago if this is where I would be right now, I'd laugh. I mean, I was in the middle of like teaching lessons. I loved it. I had a big clientele. It was great. But when I started my own business, even after I started my own Amazon business, if you'd have told me I'd be here right now, I would have said, no way, you're crazy. And so for this time of my life, I'm actually super excited about where I am. I'm having so much fun. Mm-hmm. I love talking to sellers. I love doing all of this. One thing that I would love to do is, I'm a big fan of passive income and the ability to travel. I love traveling. Like I said, like my dream would be to go to every Chiefs game in a season. Like go when they play the 49ers, go to San Francisco for that weekend. And then they play the Steelers, I'm in Pittsburgh. I mean, that sounds crazy, but that would be like an unbelievable year. So I mean, at some point, if I have, if all my passive income ventures pull through, like my vision board says they're going to do over here, then that's what I would like to do. But in terms of like other jobs or business, I love what I love about this is it's new every day. It's like it's not like and I mean that by working at Solozo. I mean that by working on my own company. My wife and I are launching a whole new brand coming up that we're excited about right now. And so every day is different. That's what's fun. It's not like you're going in and you're at least for me, like I got a finance degree, and then I got an MBA. So I have all these like things that I loosely use. But like if I was going to work every day and I was doing accounting or something like that, and it was like the same, like different numbers, same day, over and over, same process. That does not mesh with my personality or the way that I work. I love this constant change. I like, how can our competitors are doing this? How can we do this and go in different ways? I love it. So I think honestly I'm where I'm supposed to be right now, which is fun. I'm having a good time.
Well, this has been awesome and very eye-opening. I really appreciate you guys jumping on and turning the tables and let me interview you. Before we go, is there anything you would want the viewers to know about you? Like if you were to leave it like, okay, this is one thing to take away from this episode regarding who I am, what my vision is, why I work here. Dustin, go.
Okay, I'll go. So, I mean, if you're watching right now and you sell on Amazon, I'm your people. I'm living the life that I do that you do. So, and I really love the Solozo tool and what it does. I'm passionate that if you are selling on Amazon, that you wear so many hats in this business that was an issue for me when I started. Is I tried to do everything myself, and not only did I not do everything because I couldn't, I did a lot of things poorly or not as well as I could be because I didn't take advantage of tools that were out there. Now, tools like Solozo didn't exist then, but so I love showing people how, no matter how hands-on you like to be, you can take a lot of the load off of your plate with tools like Solozo. So I love showing people that because it's as much as I love PPC. I mean, as much as I like working for Solozo and understanding PPC, it's not my favorite thing to do on a day-to-day. I don't want to be downloading search term reports every day. It's awful. So I for anybody who's watching, if you're interested at all and we have a conversation, it's going to be a genuine conversation about your business and how Solozo can help. So, Kris, go ahead.
McClain, give me that question again.
I may not even answered it. I don't even know.
Give me that question again because I want to make sure I get it right.
The audience wants to know how many times a day you shower.
2. If anybody could take away anything from this, is that what I'm getting at? Is that the question?
Yeah. Essentially, if there was any message you wanted to reveal or to emphasize to people watching regarding you, what you do, and what your goals are in doing all of this, what would it be?
So I would say it's just continue to learn. Like Solozo is kind of a byproduct, like with this. I honestly just like helping other sellers, like just learning what they're doing and seeing what's being changed in the e-com space. But learning is something that I didn't really take advantage of at a younger age, and maybe I didn't know it, but I think that's where we are now. Like both Dustin and I, like we like to teach other people or learn from other people, and then if Solozo happens to fall in that category, so be it. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, it's like I would love nothing better than to talk, and I do now, is to talk to sellers all day and just learn where they're at in their business and help them get to the other side of where they need to get to. Like I just talked to a seller today who didn't have any clue about brand analytics and didn't know how to use it, but he was brand registered. It's okay, dude, like here's how you use brand analytics. Like let's do it the right way. Like that kind of stuff fires me up because he would have never figured it out, or maybe he would have, but he would have taken forever. So yeah, honestly, like just helping people get to the other side of what their goal is, try to figure out what they're trying to do. And if Solozo can do that, great. If not, at least I maybe spent 30 minutes with you to hopefully get you to where you need to be.
Well, there you go. That's Kris and Dustin. They are Amazon sellers, Solozo, and PPC experts, and apparently part-time therapists. So if you ever need to call them and just vent about issues you're having with seller support, they always like to hear those stories. So definitely call them on that. But in all seriousness, it's so far been great working with you guys, and I'm excited to be part of the team. And I'm excited that you guys were able to come on and give us some insight into the guys behind the microphones. I think that really adds color to your base audience and being able to relate to you on a deeper level. So I think it was really good, and thank you for letting me put you in the hot seat.
Yeah, well, thank you, McClain, for doing it. That's nice sometimes not to be the one asking all the questions all the time and get to answer them. And yeah, hopefully that helped everybody get to know us a little better. The last time that I think we even talked about our own stories was the introduction to this podcast. So 142 episodes ago, we told our story. So if anybody wants to hear like our full story, like how we got, you know, where we were raised and all that stuff, go back to the intro. And listen to that. But thanks, McClain, for doing the reverse interview. That was a lot of fun. Great questions. So yeah, well, everybody who's listening now, I'll take back over the microphone. Anyone who's listening right now,
typical Dustin, by the way.
Yeah, I know you like. It's exactly right.
He's been wanting to do that the whole time.
Yeah, exactly right. No, you did an awesome job. So for everyone listening, if you like content like this, most of the time we're not talking about ourselves. I promise. We talk with other people as well. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You can also subscribe to Solozo's channel on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can turn on notifications because we live stream these. So some of you might be watching us live right now. So make sure you do that. Leave us a review, a comment. Let us know how you're doing, or how we're doing. Not how you're doing. Let us know how we're doing.
You can let us know how you're doing too.
You can let us know how you're doing too.
We don't care how you're doing.
So please do that. And also, if you are currently selling and you are managing your advertising yourself and you'd like help automating and optimizing that, make sure you go to Solozo.com. You can book a demo in the top right corner. You will get either Kris or myself on that call. We take every single call. Like we said, we'll talk to you about your business. We'll talk to you about how Solozo operates, how it can help you. And we just like to talk. So if it's a good fit, we'll bring you on. And if not, we'll advise you where to go. So make sure that you do that. You get a 14-day free trial. It's a great deal. You won't miss out by taking advantage of that. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for the reverse interview. Thanks, McClain, for the great questions. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great day.